Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to STEAM Camp. My name is Miss Adrienne. I'm the Children's Librarian at the Foster City Library, which is one of the San Mateo County libraries. And today we're going to work on making an art journal. That's part of A in STEAM. This is our STEAM club, and this is our final week of STEAM club before everyone goes back to school. So I want to say it's been really nice making these videos, and I hope that everyone had a lot of fun doing some of the activities. If you have been participating in the summer reading program and you haven't filled out your completion form yet, go ahead and head to our website, smcl.org. And don't forget to fill out the form to tell us that you completed any summer reading logs so you can get entered to win the grand prize college scholarship. Okay? Anything that you make today, I just want to remind you, you can always post so that we can all see it at hashtag SMCLCreate. So any social media platforms, if you take a picture and you want to tag it so I can see it, I will be able to see it if you tag it like this. Okay, let's get started for today. So art journaling is something fun that I like to do from time to time. What does it mean when I say that, you know, maybe you have a journal? What do you do with a journal? Yeah, that's right. A lot of times people write in journals. You might record your thoughts, you might record what happened that day, things like that, right? But there's other types of journals too. You might have a journal if you're a scientist where you keep the results of your experiments. If you were a naturalist, you might have a journal where you would have drawings of you know, animals and plants and insects, things that you find in the natural world. What other kinds of journals are there? Has anyone heard of other types of journals? Yeah, there's lots of types of journals. And today we're going to do an art journal. An art journal can be really anything you want it to be. It could be abstract art, which is why I'm here in my family's art area in our house. I thought it could give us some good ideas of how to, you know, use our imagination, right? There's an abstract image in back of me right now. But how you might want to use your imagination to create things. I tend to do things that are sort of abstract. Do you know what abstract means? Yeah, abstract means that it's not an image of a particular object. It's sort of something that is maybe different shapes and colors, but it's not just a flower or a boot, you know, something like that, right? So that's abstract. You can use lots of different things in your art journals. I tend to use paint a lot, but you don't have to use paint. You can draw pictures with pens and markers. You can use pencils. You can do mostly collage, right? So I have some little pieces of paper here that I might want to use when I'm doing my art journal. You might want to collect magazines or things you can cut up with scissors to make a collage. There's all sorts of ideas. The thing about an art journal is that you're not trying to make any particular thing. It's not like when sometimes you're in art class and everybody's making a drawing of an apple, right? That's not what art journaling is about. Art journaling is more about trying things and then seeing where they go. You know, you might just start with some blobs of paint on your paper and see what do the colors make you think of. You know, maybe you used some blue and it makes you think of the ocean, or you used some green and it makes you think of the forest. So that's the way that I tend to do my abstract art journaling, is I sort of just allow my imagination to give me ideas as I'm going and expand on those ideas as I'm painting or drawing. Okay, and I'll show you how that looks. I'm gonna do an example in a little bit. So some things you might need, even though you can use anything, you're gonna need at least some sort of sturdy notebook. I happen to use this type of notebook. It's very sturdy because I paint on the pages, but you don't have to use that. You could use something like what I've got here that I used for our hashtag, right? This is just a regular spiral bound notebook. You could use that. You could even use something like a notebook with lines in it, because this is your art journal. It doesn't have to be any way specific. It can be just something that you do for fun, and there's no judgment about whether it's good or bad. It can just be fun. Okay, so some things that I use in my art journal are to make the pages thick so I can paint on them. I usually start by doing a coat of this, it's called acrylic gesso. You paint it on, it's white, and you paint it on your pages, and it makes them thick. So that way when you use things that are sort of watery, it won't make your paper crinkle. Now, if you have young children and you're not comfortable with using acrylic gesso, what you might want to use is tempera paint. Tempera paint is egg-based, it's non-toxic, it's washable, and you can just do a nice coat of white on your pages to make them a little bit thicker and let it dry before doing any more painting. You could also just not use paint. You could use crayon, you could use glue and do some collage. You could do collage with drawings on top of it. Anything that you want is okay in art journaling. And that's the real thing I want to communicate to everybody. Whatever you want in your art journal, it's okay. So when I do it, I normally gesso my pages first, and then I can paint on top of them. I let it dry overnight, and then I can start painting. And then you're just going to want to have some paints. I happen to have acrylic paint. Older children could use this. Younger children should definitely stick with a tempera paint because it's much easier to clean up. You could use the kind of thing that's in the middle, like a Crayola washable paint. You're going to want to have some paint brushes, a cup of water if you're using paint, but I will just repeat, you don't have to use paint. You're going to want to have this is something you probably do want to have for an art journal, are some nice markers, because they can come in handy for doing anything. Art journaling, you might want to be writing things in your art journal. You know, you can write the names of things. You can write words that you particularly like. You could write your name. You could write the names of your family members, anything that you feel like writing. But it's nice to have some good markers to do your writing. A pencil probably wouldn't necessarily show up on, if you're using other colors, it might get drowned out. So really some nice markers are good. You might want to have some glue, like a glue stick, to glue down any sort of collage work that you're doing. Okay, so then I'm just going to give you an example of some of the pages of the art journal that I have made here. So here's one that I made, and like I said, at first I put down my acrylic gesso and I let it dry overnight, and then I start plopping down some paint colors. And then I think, oh, what does that look like? You know, does that remind me of a leaf? Does that remind me of a flower? And then I just go from there, you know, putting down paint. This one is really only paint, but I have some others that I can show you. Like this one, for example, is paint and collage. So I had some pictures of birds here, which I put in my collage also. And then I thought that those red pictures sort of looked like flowers. So we have some flowers and some birds, and then in the back is sort of like an abstract yellow background. Let's see, what else did I have? This one's kind of neat. This one is, again, it's collage, marker, and paint, this one. So I had some music. You can see the music notes, which I cut up. And then I used some paint in the background, and then on the very top I drew on some shapes with marker. Let's see, what else did we do? This one's just paint, but this one's very bright and colorful, so I thought I could show it. So that's kind of neat. Very bright and colorful. And Anything else that I want to include? Oh yeah, this one I'll show. It's not my favorite thing I've ever made, but it has glitter, you can see, so you could use glitter in your art journal. It also has a stencil up here, so you might have a stencil that you want to use. And then you can see I drew some flowers on top. And the back is sort of a hodgepodge of different colors. So those are some ideas for art journaling, like I said, you can really do whatever you want. So I'm going to demonstrate how I art journal using the Paint program on my iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see it. I think it'll work a lot better than if I were to do it in real life. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so here I am in my Paint program on my iPads, and I'm going to demonstrate sort of how I like to art journal. So just like in real life, I'm going to go ahead and pick what kind of tool I'm going to use. Am I going to use pencil? Am I going to use marker? Am I going to use paint? These are the same things I'd be using in real life. So I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me do some dark drawing. And then I'm going to choose my color here, right? So I'm going to pick black, but just like in real life, you'd want to pick a color. You're going to do red, or you're going to do blue, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. This is a big marker. We're going to say, hello. What else could we say? Hello, day. And what else could we think about? What else we might want to say in our journal? Hello, day, right? What does that make us think of? It's a brand new day. Maybe we have some sunshine, right? What else happens in the beginning of the day? We might have some leaves, right? Birds chirping. We might have some flowers, right? What could I draw? A flower here. Do another row of petals behind a big flower, big flower. So I'm just making this up as I go. And then on top of my drawing, maybe I'm gonna start doing some painting. So let's do some acrylic paint, and I'm gonna pick a color. What color should I use? Let's try pink. Let's try a pink. And I can make this sort of opaque so that I can still see my writing in the background. It's the same thing you would do in real life if you wanted to, I'm gonna make my brush bigger again. If you wanted to see what you had left in the background, right? So I'm just gonna put in some color here. You should still be able to see most of the things that I wrote, which is great. You could do this with paint at home too. So what you're doing really is you're layering. My first layer was my writing, and now my second layer is going to be my my paint splotches. So let's move to yellow. Let's do some bright yellow here. He's more yellowy yellow, huh? More yellowy. Okay. Let's use some bright yellow here. I just like to do big, sort of abstract areas sometimes. You don't have to be neat. I mean, you can be neat because it's your journal. So if you like being neat, go ahead and be neat. Let's use some purple. Okay, some purple up here. I'm gonna fill in the rest of my canvas with purple. And let's use some green down in this last corner so it has some variety of colors, right? So I like to be really abstract in my art journaling, but not everybody likes that. You know, you might want to do something very concrete, and that's okay too. All right, so let's think in real life, if I was making an art journal, I might have some what am I trying to say? Some collage. So in this program, I can also sort of make a collage look by using special brushes. So let's say I'm going to enter, if I was at home, I might want to cut something out of a magazine and glue it down. But here, what I'm going to do is use this sort of interesting palette I have to put in some shapes. All right. And that's another layer of different shapes. All right. Let's see, what else could we put in? There's some interesting ones. Ooh, let's use these flowers. I think that goes well with our theme. And let's change back to pink for the flowers. That'll be fun. So just like I was doing at home, I could put some flowers, just like I would put collage at home. Very fun. And then on top of those, what else might I want to do? I might want to put in some, let's do some more drawing, I think. Let's try another just thick drawing, but let's not use black. Yet let's use a bright color, like a white almost. That might be really fun. We'll put in some white accents here. And I want it to be really bright. Whoa, here's some white accents to really pop. When you're doing art, white really is sometimes the last thing that you're gonna wanna do because it pops so much. And it could be the last thing that you do. Just making my words pop a little bit more here. Ooh, let's do our flower. Let's make our flower sort of pop out here. And maybe I'll do some other colors. Maybe I'll do some pink in my flower. Whoa, that's very, very opaque when compared with the rest of our drawing, huh? It is very solid. That's what I mean by opaque. You can't see through it at all. A lot of our others, we use sort of a very thick sort of, or not a very thick paint. But here, what we're doing is very, very thick, so it's very opaque. And let's give that flower a nice stem, huh? Let's give our flower a stem. Not undo that. I don't like that stem. I want to make it a little bit thinner. In fact, let's give all of our flowers little stems. That could be fun. Let's give more of these flower stems. And I might do another, because this flower has some blacking, I might also blacken my stem. And then I might do another layer on top to make it pop a little bit more. So really what I like to do with art journaling is, like I said before, you really need to just build up your layers. And then the more layers that you add on top, usually the more refined your product starts to be. So that could be just a really simple art journal page. And I hope that that made a lot of sense, and you can see how you might want to use those activities in your daily when you're doing your art journal. Okay, so let's come back here. All right, so I hope that what I did using the iPad made a lot of sense to you about how you might want to do that on paper. I thought using the iPad would be better because it you can see what I'm doing a lot more than you would if I were just, you know, had my real life art journal in front of you. So think about what you might want to do, and then you can go ahead and if you make an art journal, don't forget to tag it so that I can see it, okay? Thank you so much for coming to STEAM Camp, and I hope you have a great school year, and it's been a real pleasure. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.